Bilum is my life. Bilum is my story. I live with Bilum. I sleep with Bilum. I eat with Bilum. And as a normal, average family in Papua New Guinea does, we all work to survive. So Bilum is our story.
It's mostly women that make these Bilums. They are able to weave a narrative. This is a story appearing in the form of a net. It's a kind of writing that subsists on a lexicon of continuity, constantly trying to find new ways to tell stories.
Bilum weaving, the technique itself is an ancient traditional skill that has been passed on by our mothers and our mother and sisters. So it is our duty as women to pass on that knowledge on to our daughters, teach them. My mother would be making Bilum to keep me busy so I don't touch the Bilum. What she did was she gave me a piece of fiber like this, and then she will tie it up like this, and then she gives it to me and she teaches me how to do. In my mother's language, it's called sanakuno, so it will be like this, and then we will make something like that, and then say, okay, you make it fire, and like this is fire. And you know, with modern family or Western family, they read books or they do those things. But for us young girls back in the village, we were taught how to make Bilum.
Every day, Bilum is usemos mi can carry na golo garden na pula kai na kamo. Even me walk fish too, me can isi fish pula I'm going to la Bilum na mi carry go la house lo smoke him. Or me can use him na pula baby. Si so him lo sleep. Suppose no ate mem no hope me must make it Bilum lo live hanging bloom in a stop yeah kind of so.
My name is Florence Chokaya Kamel, and I'm from Goroka, Eastern Highlands Province. I left school early, I got married, and you know, I'm a village girl. I was in a very abusive relationship with my husband. He was a very nice person, but every time when he's drunk and when he comes home, it's when he does all the violence to me. So in March 8 in 2009, I left him. But that night I left my house with a bleeding mouth and broken teeth and with 5 little children, and I had 8 kina in my pocket at the time. I never went back for a Bilum too. With 8 kina in the Bilum, I came out. My family were they were really, truly disappointed with me. So I didn't know where to take my children. Anyway, I went to my bigger brother and I stayed with him in his house, and that was how I started. I took on my children, despite everything, whether we had food or we didn't have food. I mean, it was like suicide. But the other inside, me was telling me, you proved those people wrong. The last 5 kina I had in the purse, I pulled it out from the purse and it came out with a business card that I've been keeping for 5 years. People from Pacific Trade and Invest in Sydney. With the 5 kina, I bought internet access for 15 minutes. With the 5 kina, I sent it down to Sydney to Pacific Trade Invest to Ruth Solai and Caleb Jarvis and them. I'm going to do a Bilum festival. I sent this, and I'd like to invite you to come. Yes, we are coming. So now I'm going to do a Bilum festival, which will be a marketing platform for the Bilum weavers. So when the tourists come for Goroka show, they can go into the Bilum festival and purchase the Bilums from the weavers.
My name's Ruth Chulai. I'm the Cultural Industries Advisor attached to ABT Associates. I've always had an interest in Bilum, but it officially started in my work environment in 2009 with the invitation by Flo to attend the Bilum Festival. It was glorious, it was huge, it was an eye-opener. I listened to stories about the Bilum patterns, and that's where I got totally hooked.
The work that we've done with Florence and the Goroka Weavers Association is fairly simple. You know, we're just facilitators. We were just there at the right place and the right time with the similar passions. But most importantly, we created an event where we could bring international buyers to an event where they can actually meet the weavers in one place and actually purchase lots of Bilum as well.
I started the first Bilum Festival, which is the first female festival in the country too. So it started in 2010 and it continued until now. The Australian government that brought the exposure sent me to international countries and bring the idea out.
Australia's support to the creative and cultural industries started 12 years ago. The main focus of the Australian government support here in PNG is really about the empowerment of women and girls and more particularly the economic opportunities. I think that has been the focus and continues to be the focus for the Australian government in supporting the industry.
Pacific Trade Invest, what we did is we worked at the grassroots levels with the weavers and with some of the leaders in that community, and Florence is the key leader that we've been working with. She's the one who's really stood up and has seen the opportunity for her and her weavers.
I distribute the Bilums, I bring in weavers, I train them, aggregators in different areas. And if I will look at Papua New Guinea, it has already gone up to 1,000 weavers. We have sister weavers in Wewak, we have sister weavers in Medang, Morobe, Mount Hagen, Yalibu, Porgera, and in the province itself we've got Okapa, Bena, and then we have sister weavers in Simbai, in Karamui.
Our aggregators are really important because you just need to speak to one person and that person then spreads the word amongst their network. And that's how we've evolved. I sit between the exporter and the importer and just work through their relationship with them. That applies to Flo, it also applies to Lena.
Nemblomi Lina Singu, Mr. Ployelo Wewak, North Coast Lo PNG. Mr. Hamamastru Lo work Lo Bilum because me go lo place, Mr. Tokto Wande Ol Weaver, only working the way me like him. Me talking more live walking more same, also walking me go looking me buy me come me giving me go long online step put the other come lo me am mas lo work on the weaver. Me work la line more planty training more line long. Walking work quality, good quality or something but can reach him outside market.
So I wanted to be different because Goroka is a little town and when you do a haircut, everybody's doing the same. When you're wearing something, everybody's doing the same. So I wanted to be different and I was thinking I should wear Bilum dress. So I started wearing the first Bilum dress there. The whole country had two sides. They were for and against. And it was like, I'm wearing a Bilum dress in Goroka, but there were media people and there were everybody, looking and talking. So the movement of the gossip went all over Papua New Guinea. And I had to defend what I love doing. And I love wearing Bilum dresses. It made me outstanding and it made me unique. So people of Papua New Guinea called me Bilumeri.
At the time, I remember thinking, where on earth am I going to find a market for Bilum? Once the Australian Museum purchased, and they purchased a dress that Flo made, other institutions were interested, and then Goma in Brisbane bought, and then another museum in Germany bought, and then the Art Gallery of New South Wales bought. And so it started this whole ball rolling.
There's a lot of buyers out there. There's market for Bilums to be exported, but how do I get there?
The only way we're going to move the dial on the creative industry space for the Pacific Islands was to create our own event. And then we would invite potential buyers and clothing companies to come in to meet these artists, to look at what they did and to begin a conversation around how the Pacific Island artists could bring their knowledge and their passion and experience and meet the needs of consumers in international markets.
So they took me down to Sydney. I took all the Bilums and then we started connecting with buyers. But taking it to the next level and having it as a commercial object was the biggest challenge I had now. How we will make the demand in the market on the international scale. Keep the idea, the original traditional idea, and find a market. So that was what I wanted.
I'm Caroline Sherman. I founded Among Equals and we're based in Sydney. We work with female aggregators across Papua New Guinea. I walked past an exhibition which was called Marketing Plus, Marketplace, and I fell in love with the bags and I just thought and saw the potential for creating a sustainable industry working with Papua New Guinean beautiful artisans to give them a wider audience.
We started exporting, that's where we met Among Equals, and then Among Equals started being our biggest buyer.
Flow is my absolute go-to with everything, but I also work with a number of other different weavers in different regions. So there's Lena, who is up the Sepik River. She has up to 800 weavers up and down the riverbank, which is incredible.
Bilum me giving big plus service go down the family blooming me by my outboard motor la Bilum. Me kisi moliklik line ta so na me can go SMS pa upper Sepik to middle Sepik na lower Sepik. Me amama so se mol carry man blooming me sa supply mol Bilum blooming la Australia na Sydney. Me lubi mol carry me sa amama stro se an blooming around lo gata hab la outside lo overseas na narablo la country.
Time looking Bilum Blum start bla Narabla country or Australia and the white Mary and the Mabin start. I be a pili mama mas inside the veil blumi or an unmarked blumina, Petena style blumi and Mary a carrying a sanavista. Miss Alumin and Miss Apili mas. As a Mima straight in Narabla can style more can by Narabla Mary wearing Narabla country can.
My name is Marjorie Single. I'm Lena Single's niece. My role is sales and marketing and social media. We specialize in mainly natural fiber. Probably to bring into this generation, to probably take it to the next level of making see if we can styling it up a bit, put in new designs. Our generation would be, the style would be this. So this would be the comparison, you see? So they did a little pimping up with this one, put a little bilas in front, and then this one would be just a straight up, you know, just like a plain one that you just carry. So, but personally, I would love this one. For my generation, I would for sure, I would take this one, I carry.
They're really gaining traction internationally. So in the US and Japan, Italy, Germany, all over the world, which is incredible. It's growing all the time. So we want to see where we can take it to the next level.
For the first time, we really had a conduit, a channel that we could move bulk Bilum into. With Carolyn's energy and the investment that they've made, we've been able to move beyond hundreds of Bilums to thousands of Bilums to hundreds of thousands of kina worth of Bilum sales.
My dream for Bilum was to increase the price of Bilum domestically. We've been able to do that. We've increased it by 30 to 40 kina per bag. My dream is to see a medium-sized Bilum being sold for 100, 120, even 150. What really excites me is that Bilum is now available at Selfridge's designer level. That, for me, is the epitome of market access and entry.
I'm Jessica Castle, the founder of Bilum and Bilas. Bilum and Bilas operates as an employment social enterprise where we create economic empowerment for marginalised women through utilising their traditional skills and creating contemporary woven jewellery. We currently have 4 full-time weavers and a jeweller, and they're based in Port Moresby and work out of our studio space at 6 Mile.
Before, so okay, Bilum taso. So now me black and okay, can get something do this Bilum. Now me talk earring, war hanging, this or something. Now me talk nupla something. Yeah, mama so sem now me bla quante Bilum and Bilas me bla mama so sem me bla okay nupla something na. Me bla mama so logo quante jazz.
I think the Bilum industry has huge potential to grow. It's the creative industry in Papua New Guinea is a really untapped resource. I think there's a real demand now in the marketplace for sustainable, ethical and products with such deep meaning and stories that also give back to the makers.
It's the stories about the weaver and the community that connects the buyer with them. People want to buy something that you weave with love and you do with your fingers. There's people who are out there that are prepared to tell their story, how Bilum has impacted them, how they educated their children, how they paid for the health services, how they sent their children to universities. As we're talking, our children are out in the universities, and Bilum is paying their school fee.
Bilum is incredibly special. That story needs to be told. And it's not always easy for a small grassroots maker to know how to communicate how special the craft is through marketing and telling that story.
I think the Among Equals customer comes for the art form but stays for the stories that the weavers are telling through the weaving of their bags. The ultimate goal of the brand is to foster relationships with the weavers so that we can continue doing this for the next generation. We're creating sustainable industries for the women weavers.
The more Bilum that we sell, the more income the women earn, and for me that's the most important thing.
Our weavers who are single mothers, who are women that people think there's no value in the family. They are mothers who are raising the children to pay for their school fees, pay medical bills, and building their own houses, and they've succeeded through Bilum. And I'm one of the story too. That's the dream I want to see all over Papua New Guinea now.
Bilum is just one case study or one example of how far we can progress with this strategy. We have other products that we can look at, is baskets, carvings, music, literature, fashion.
The Bilum industry or the creative and culture industries has a massive opportunity to expand beyond what it's doing now. In order to sustain or grow from here on is really raising the standards, raising the capacity of Bilum weavers, making sure that they meet demands and they meet the standards of their markets, especially the international markets. And once you get that right, the potential to scale then is massive and can be really commercialized if we get the quality and standards right. These are high commodity now, and it can only get better from here.
It's not about me doing it. It's about the women of Papua New Guinea doing it. It's about spreading the love of Bilum everywhere.